Welcome, everybody,
Hello.
to episode 171 of the Geek Dad Report, the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bring you guys all the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a little smile on your beautiful faces. I'm Brian West, the hostess with the absolute positively Back to the Future mostest.
And I'm Ryan Thompson. I got a sliver in my finger and it hurts really bad.
I'm going back in time. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Is that like what? That's got to be. I feel like the 80's had their movies had the best soundtracks.
I think they have the most re-listenable
Because
soundtrack.
Back to the Future is basically just Huey Lewis and the News for the entire thing.
I don't think I've purchased any soundtrack recently.
Top Gun. Did I tell you about the Transformers soundtrack? Because it has, you got the touch, ooh, ooh. You got the power, When all hell's breaking loose, you'll be right in the eye of the storm.
We read that from Bumblebee or something.
Well, it's on Bumblebee, but it's also from the Transformers actual soundtrack from the 80's movie, cartoon movie.
I think my son, after we watched Into the Spider-Verse, he used the Spotify app to basically put every single Into the Spider-Verse song.
That is a good. That's a good one. My friend turned me on to that. I got Apple Music now, since you get it free with Verizon if you got one of the Max plans. And dude, he's like, "Have you listened to Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want to," because the movie soundtrack was really. I mean, watching the movie, you could tell they had a good soundtrack. It's dude, I've been thumping that thing forever. It is such a good soundtrack.
Yeah, he's maybe it's just because he's 11 years old. And he's starting to really get into music right now. It's like he's, I guess it's the age where you're starting to figure out who you are and stuff like that. So he's been kind of up in his room, just listening to all kinds of different music. But he's been listening to "What's Up Danger," from
"What's Up Danger" is a great song. It is a legit good song. What's up, Danger? And here's the thing about soundtracks. I really hope we get more. I hope we get a kind of a. I know Guardians of the Galaxy, which we got some Guardians of the Galaxy news for you guys today. We're going to talk about a little bit later, but I know Guardians of the Galaxy really tried to push this, and I think a lot of movies are trying to get you. Captain Marvel to an extent really had a soundtrack that they wanted you to remember. I think movies are trying to push soundtracks again, which would be really great because there's something really fun about a soundtrack. Because when you listen to a soundtrack, not only do a lot of times you get really cool songs, it takes you back to that joy of watching that movie, especially a good movie, right? So I hope all of you who watched the Transformers cartoon as a kid, if you're old enough to remember it fondly like I do, just hearing that song takes me back to that moment where, it's like, yes! I mean, it's Hot Rod and Optimus dies, but it's still a great movie. Spoiler alert.
I think sadly the last soundtrack that I ever purchased was the Braveheart one, and you can have any song play from that soundtrack, and I know exactly the scene and everything that's going on in that movie.
Well, and that's the... I think that's when soundtracks kind of started going away for a while, because I'm with you. I got the Braveheart, I got Gladiator, I even have Titanic. Yeah, I got the Titanic soundtrack. Dude, those classical Hans Zimmer's, John L. Williams scores. I have the best of John L. Williams, which has Superman theme and Indiana Jones and Jaws. Some of these great composers, they're such good soundtracks. But when they went away from doing musical soundtracks, I think that's when it kind of died out for a while. And people just didn't. I mean, you can have a debate of what's the greatest soundtracks of all time, and most of them are probably from the 80's and 90's, right? You can get a few today, like we talked about the Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse one, but even Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain Marvel are songs from the 70's and 80's and 90's. So, it's. I mean, we had what? And
they still have the best original song, category for the Oscars. So I guess they're still trying to make, good music.
They are. I mean, I really did like the Deadpool, the Celine Dion.
Yeah, the Ashes. Yeah, that one should have been.
And that's kind of what it was. I mean, that was.
They were trying extra hard to get that song nominated for like a Grammy or something like that. But
I mean, isn't and that's kind of the thing, right? That became more popular than actually licensing out a bunch of songs. It became more popular to have one person create an original song like Celine Dion, "My Heart Will Go On," and then we'll just throw in a bunch of classical and people buy them. So I don't know. I would like to see people get back to. I would really like to see directors, if you're listening, get back to putting in awesome soundtracks. So you could just bump the soundtrack. I still listen to.
You can just put a Spotify playlist together and call it a movie soundtrack.
Dude, I still got Footloose soundtrack. Holding on for a hero. I'm holding on for a hero in the middle of the night. Woo. And he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be ready to fight. I need a hero. Do.
But there's only like 5 songs for like any sports team movie that pretty much you can guarantee will be on there.
Real quick. When you hear "Holding On for a Hero," do you think of Footloose or do you think of Short Circuit 2? Because I think of Short Circuit 2.
I think Footloose always comes to mind first.
It's got to be Short Circuit when he's like, "Oscar, not get away. I am really pissed off," and he gets all like mohawked out.
Yeah, that's like when he puts on the spikes and.
Yeah, and it's super sad because he's got the battery countdown and he's like gonna die, and you're like, "No, Johnny Five, you can't die."
God, man, what if they rebooted that series?
No.
Is that on isn't that like, didn't they talk about rebooting Short Circuit or something?
They could. I mean, I guess they could. But knowing them, they'd probably try and make like a super slick robot that didn't. I mean, part of the reason why Johnny Five was great is because he looked like this ridiculous
robot on the army tracks anymore. You know.
I always loved that the whole premise of that movie is that the army would make a killer robot, but they would also give him like eyebrows and make him facial expressions.
Yeah. And make him very frail bodies that are like, like a couple of poles.
That you slap and their arms fall off. Basically, they were like friendly robots with tank tracks and lasers. I mean, where did they get the laser technology from? That just, they really kind of skipped over that whole thing. Yeah, we got these robots. Oh, and we have super lasers.
Yeah, and if you hit it just hard enough, you will destroy the whole machinery. So and make it rendered pointless.
No, they had a whole bunch of spare parts everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you remember? The best. All right. Well, I feel like we could dive into 80s nostalgia and break down. Maybe that's what we should. Maybe when we cancel this podcast, which is going to be what? We got 28 episodes left.
Yeah. 28 episodes, and we're still hanging at 89 subscribers.
Yeah. So episode 200 will be our last as of right now. But maybe we should transition into where we just every week break down a movie from the 80s.
Ooh. How about, can we do 80s and 90s though? Because I don't want.
We can just call the podcast From Our Childhood, and we just break down something from our childhood.
That's a good idea.
All right, well, there you go. Well, maybe it's going to be episode 172 will be the next one, because that sounds way funner. Because I could literally talk Short Circuit for 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're good here. Why do we go to waste like the next 45 minutes? I mean, let's just call it right here.
All right, guys. Welcome to the final episode of the Geek Dad Report. You're going to get a bunch of news, and then next week, we're doing something else, because why not?
Yeah. Let's just go all out on this final episode, man.
All right. Well, we're going to save all our 80s talk for our next podcast, apparently. But we do have a ton of news. We actually have a lot of news. A lot of trailers dropped this week. Some actually pretty big news in the nerd community came out that we're going to talk about. We don't have a topic of the week. That is because we have a lot of questions from you guys from the Fifth 50 this week. Some really good ones. And one in particular that's probably going to take a big chunk out of the show. So we will we'll dive into that. And then, as always, we got some recommendations. So stick around. We got an action-packed show. But first, Ryan, how was your week? Did you do anything fun?
Other than I got the sliver in my hand today. You can't really see it.
Oh, yeah. Right. Is that what you were whining about at the beginning of the show that I totally
It's
turned?
Right in the part where my finger bends, you know?
Oh,
so
is that what we call a man boo-boo sliver?
I can't bite it out or anything. It's just annoying the shit out of me.
You're probably going to have to call in sick from work.
But other than that, it was for my daughter's birthday last night. All she wanted to do was go to the movie theater with the family. And
nice.
She wanted to see Captain Marvel. So
Ooh.
we went and we saw Captain Marvel. We ate a really shitty dinner at the movie theater.
Movie. Not only is it really shitty, it's probably like $185.
Like, you sit down, you push the button, and a guy comes up like,
that's cool. So you went to, is it one of the places that you can drink and stuff too?
Yeah. So cool. You can buy beer, you can buy mixed drinks.
So where you live, they let kids into those, huh? For like, is it like a certain time they let kids? Because like I know the ones around here, we have those now, but they're only 21 and up.
Oh no, it was. You can get whatever you want.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, those places are fun. Yeah. I like those, but they are kind of spendy, so you can only do it so often.
Yeah. It was $65 for all 4 of our meals, and my daughter.
That's actually not that bad.
And she bought some. Yeah, but because I don't have very good vision in low light, I just went with like chicken tenders and fries. I figured just stuff I can just put my hand in front of me, and put it right into my mouth. Nothing complicated.
So you just like to wait. So backtrack. So you just like things that you can just grab that are right in front of you and stick in your mouth?
When it comes to food substances, Brian.
All right, moving on.
No, just the food just tastes like it was like frozen food that they like microwaved.
Well, yeah, it's a theater.
Yeah, and so every single one of us hated our dinner.
Oh, nice.
Everyone thought it was like the worst tasting thing ever. But
did everyone at least enjoy the movie?
Yes, we did enjoy the movie. The kids loved it. My son really liked it. And I'm so glad that he's finally. It took him like 5 years, like after, to finally get into the comic book movies, but he's like, he's super into it now. My daughter said that Captain Marvel is the greatest superhero ever, and she already wants like a Captain Marvel costume. Even my wife had, she enjoyed it. So she did not enjoy having to stay for the end credits. Because I said, there's a middle credits one and an end credits one, and she was like, I understood the first one. It made sense that they're trying to tie it in for the Avengers. She's like,
and then you stay for the cat at the end.
Yeah, and then she was like, but the cat one at the end, that was dumb. Why did I have to stay in the movie?
Because cats get fur balls. That was funny.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I will say there are people who went way. I mean, listen, anytime a Marvel movie a trailer gets released, there's 10,000 reaction YouTube videos breaking down every aspect of everything. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised that people like dive into way too much of every detail. But I saw so many reaction breakdowns about how that scene could change everything we know about the Marvel universe. I'm like, y'all are really reaching. It was a fun. Oh, we got a cat. Let's do a hairball scene where the cat coughs things up.
Tesseract. At some point.
Don't spoil it, Ryan.
Doesn't spoil anything.
I mean, it's going to be in our story, but considering it's already made like $700 million worldwide, I don't think anybody hasn't seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
So what'd you think? I think last week I said it was an okay movie. I gave it like a B minus, like a solid Phase 1 Marvel movie.
My son and I both gave it a solid B. My daughter gave it an A++++++++.
And you know what? And that's and like we said last week, that is perfectly okay and awesome that she loved it that much. So
yeah, I'm just glad she loved it. And the first thing she said to me the second the movie was over, she leaned over and she said, "Dad, they're gonna make a Captain Marvel 2, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, they will make a Captain Marvel 2."
That's funny you mentioned that. My oldest today goes, "Dad, so what do you know about Captain Marvel 2?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, what's it gonna be about?" I'm like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Well, have they released a trailer for it yet?" And I'm like, "No, they haven't even started making the movie yet." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "They haven't even written the movie yet." Yeah, she's like, "This is unacceptable." But then when I told her Captain Marvel was going to be in Avengers next month, she was very excited.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, "You guys are literally going to see. You guys can see her, again in Endgame, in the Avengers." And she's like, "Well, is she like the main Avenger? Because, that's all I really want."
No, deal with it. She's part of a team. They're Avengers, not Carol Danvers and the Avengers.
Yeah, Carol Danvers Adventures.
No, it'll be cool. But
they really enjoyed it.
Well, that's good. And that is the important thing. I'm glad on her birthday Happy birthday, Finley. I know your dad doesn't let you watch the show, but if you, in a whole bunch of years when you do.
Oh, no, she asked me tonight when she gets to be on the show again. So
we'll plan something out, because this is our final episode. She's really cutting it close.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Sorry.
Well, listen, we're going to let our kids start doing this anyway, because we clearly suck. So in 3 years of doing this, we've gotten 89 subscribers. And we're not shitting on you who have subscribed. You guys are awesome. And the only reason why we're even getting to episode 200 is because of you guys. But clearly the internet has spoken, and they don't give a shit about us. So we're going to put our kids on here and let them run the channel. So tell Finley she's going to get her chance real soon.
Yeah. She said that her and Lincoln have been making a lot of videos of themselves with the iPads, playing video
my
games.
Kids.
So.
My kids got this iMovie thing, and they can make like mini videos, like trailers. So they've been making a horror movie, and I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah, they were like, when are you gonna start putting stuff on the Geek Dad Report channel like you said you were? Like, honestly, I watched a couple of your guys' videos, and I don't think I can put those.
Or like,
but it's like literally like 10 minutes of my son playing Star Wars Battlefront and my daughter. But
when you go to content creator school and learn how to make content,
and she's holding the iPad. And he's sitting at the thing, and so she's like,
You know what? That's actually not surprising. Have you seen some of these content creators? And that's pretty much what they do. They just literally record themselves doing nothing and get 8 million hits. So whatever. I give up trying to figure out what people like.
Maybe they're onto something that we think.
Well, Ryan, clearly we have not figured out what the people want.
Yeah, that's true.
But whatever. It's not about them. It's about us. Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed Captain Marvel and had a good time.
Yeah.
My week did not involve a fun movie that I had a good time in. I had to go to my daughter's choir concert, right? Which she's in 4th grade, and so they for some reason they got all the schools together for one. I guess it's probably like you can only get the auditorium at the local high school for one night, so they just piled everybody in together. And so the worst part is my daughter only sang 2 songs at the very beginning with the rest of her group, and we had to stay for the entire thing.
They locked the door and check it.
Yeah, I mean there was some really good kids. I mean, when you get to the high schoolers, they had some, what do you call, like 4 or 5 people who sing together? Whatever. Ensembles or quartets or whatever.
There. Sure.
Yeah, people who sing. So there was some really good artists, but it was like they all sing these like really slow like Latin songs, and I'm like, when are you guys going to play like Funk It Up? Uptown, funk it up. Uptown, funk you up. When you do stuff like that, then at least you can like bob your head. But and you're in an auditorium, so there's no like internet, and people are playing games because this is like the most boring thing ever, which is. Yeah. And there was the choir director. She literally went up there and she starts reprimanding people for being on their phones. I'm like, Jesus, lady. Dude,
sorry,
she was.
You should, get some lights going or something.
She's like, you should be involved in the moment, people, the moment. And I'm like, you should shut the hell up and let these kids sing so I can get the hell out of here.
Have you noticed that music teachers take their shit way too seriously? Always.
So seriously. And then every one of the music teachers that got up there, some of them had, whatever, they're artists. Clearly we're not, so we don't understand these things. But, they're artists and like, they're up there and they're doing the power directing and the hand motions and, and I'm just like, yo, you're like, this is like 7th grade and they're all out of tune. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Whatever these hand motions are doing, you should just give them one of these and get them off stage because it's real bad.
Yeah, just do a couple of these.
God, yeah, just give some fist pumps, some hip shakes, and sing Uptown Funk You Up because then at least everybody will be bobbing with you. This would be like, See, I should be a choir director. It'd be fun at least, right? But, and so at the very end, they do like everybody, so they all get up. So if you imagine being in a gym auditorium and each side you have the bleachers and then you have the floor. So they set up like a little stage and then a whole bunch of folding chairs. And then all the kids sat on one side in the auditorium on the bleachers. And so when they would sing, they'd come down, and then when they were done, they'd go back up. So at the very end, they're all sitting up there and they do one song, right, with all of them. So it's super loud. They're all doing it together. Well, we set strategically so I could see my daughter across the way so I could see her sing. And so when it first started, my wife's like, "Hey, take a little video." So I'm like, "All right." So I'm taking a video, but I got my phone like down here, just recording it so I can watch and just whatever. And I just started getting more and more angry because, okay, here's my thing. Every parent wants to videotape their kid doing something. Fine, whatever. I do it. You do it. Everybody does it. You take pictures that no one's ever going to see but yourself. Fine. You take videos that you'll probably never show to anybody, and the moment you upload it to Facebook, it's going to get censored anyway because it's not your music that's being sung in the background. So, whatever. But
and if you're lucky if you even remember that you took the video of it.
Yeah, but what the fuck, man? Every single parent there thought they were goddamn Quentin Tarantino. I mean, like, they're taking their phones and they're like, you can see them zooming in and they're getting like the angles and they're putting them up high and they're moving and then they're capturing it. Like one person got out and was like walking to capture. I'm just like, sit the fuck down. Sit down. You did not go to film school, and even if you did, you were at a choir event that no one wants to see your kids sing but you. Nobody.
And you're using an iPad.
And you're using a fucking iPad. And you're not even using an iPad. You're using one with like a leather thing, so when you're holding it open, the leather thing's flapping down.
I'm one of those kind of iPad people.
Dude, I have the new iPhone that has like a 4K 12 megabit camera, and I can take a great picture and 4K video just by doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can slowly like pinch into zoom and zoom out if I really want to. Boom. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. But that person probably had like a third generation iPad. And,
dude, and they're getting out into... No, and it wasn't just this one person. It was like 15 people. And they keep blocking in and out of my frame that I'm just sitting there by myself trying to record and watch my daughter sing because, like I said, they had to get different angles. And they're like, at one point, he's like kind of doing the splits, trying to like lean at a perfect angle. I'm just like... I almost walked up to him, slapped the phone out of his hand, and just walked back down and sat down. Yeah. It's this close.
That would have been awesome, because then there would have been so many people recording it, and you would have gone viral.
Yeah, especially since, like I said, we had 9 Steven Spielbergs in the audience. I mean, you know, maybe if we had a Robert Zemeckis, he could have put a great Back to the Future soundtrack to it, too. It'd been amazing. Going back in time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then cut it with Highway to the Danger Zone. Highway to the Danger Zone. And then I fist fight 30 people. Wah! Pow! But awesome.
And then your daughter just comes in and just starts murdering people.
And my little daughter Chuck would have jumped over the top like Chucky and freaking Ready Player One. Yeah.
She's like the Predator people, like jumping out of the plane.
And then she throws a holy hand grenade right into the pile.
And then you and Charlie do like the hand, you know, the hand thing from the Predator.
Oh yeah, no, I would have put it on my back.
But then all of a sudden, like your guys' arms are like super muscular and like all like beefed up. And then when you guys release, like you just go back to normal.
Then I would have grabbed her and flipped her over the air, and then we would have done the thing where I like swing her and she's leg kicking everybody in the face. Been awesome. Yeah. You know what? that would have been a great movie. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
That would have made a great choir concert.
I'm telling you, if Danger Zone or you know what, if Holding On for a Hero would have played at that exact moment, I would have fought everybody in that fucking auditorium.
That's probably why they don't do Danger Zone at choir concerts.
That's a good point.
Because then everybody would just start fighting.
I'm telling you, man.
Or everybody would have to just at least wear like really cool sunglasses.
So the moral of this story is, don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Moral story is, if you can't record a movie at least chest height, like, you should never have to go higher than your head.
If you're holding your iPad over your head like Say Anything, then you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And besides that, nobody wants to hear your kid sing. I don't even want to hear my own kid sing half the time.
Yeah.
You know what I did with that video I took? Nothing. It's on my phone. I'll save it onto my computer, and in 20 years, I'll pull it up and be like, oh, look at my daughter singing.
And you'll be like, oh man, where's that porn site?
And it has nothing to do with the fact of my daughter's voice. She's a fine little singer. But
yeah.
I hear her singing all the time. Like, it echoes throughout the house when she's upstairs in the shower, singing her little lungs out. I hear her sing all the time. Doesn't need to be recorded.
She sings in the shower. She's a shower singer.
Oh my god. And she doesn't just sing in the shower. She belts in the shower. She is power balloting it, man. Just
wow.
Just like, whoa. Tone it down. Tone it down. Trying to watch my Thrones down here. What's going on? So anyway, that was my choir experience.
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't. I only have sports because my kids don't really do any of those kind of things. So
yeah, well, my kids do a lot of my oldest, she likes to do dance and choir, but I think they're going to start doing basketball. So we'll see. I'm sure we'll start doing the sports thing eventually.
Oh yeah, it'll come in, and then you got to do 3 times a week, just like for practices.
Maybe we won't then. But, all right, man. Well, unless you got anything else to say, why don't we jump into news? Because we do have a lot.
Yeah, let's jump into news before we dig too deep into being fatherhood.
God, we can talk about that all day long. All right, well, let's just start out with some big one, man. We need some monster trailers. Since we've been talking about Marvel tonight already with Captain Marvel, we mentioned Endgame. Well, funny story, Avengers. Well, hang on. Ryan, should we come with the... Nah, fuck it. We missed it.
Yeah, we missed it. We
missed it. I was gonna go back to the future and do some judo chop of information, some uppercut of learning, Ryan.
The Cobra Kai leg sweep of information.
Yeah, we were gonna do that whole ninja news bit, but we didn't do it. So anyway, Avengers Endgame trailer dropped, and I have to say that Marvel is getting really good when they want to at releasing trailers that tell you nothing but tell you everything at the same time.
Yeah, but didn't they say that for the Endgame trailer, they're not showing anything past the first 15 minutes?
So the rumor is that the Russos only gave 8 minutes of footage to the trailer makers, and they've used it all. And in that 8 minutes, they also included footage that is not going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things you're seeing in this trailer might not even be in the movie.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I will say the one scene of this trailer that I really enjoyed, though, that it's got to be in the movie, and this is kind of the one that got everybody really excited too, is when Captain Marvel shows up, and Thor walks up to her, puts his hand by her head, and just holds it out there. And Storm, was it called Stormborn or something, comes flying. His new axe comes flying right by her hair, and hits her in the hand, and she doesn't even flinch, and he's like, I like this one.
And then I had sent a picture to you and Evil Chris that showed Thor doing the meme of the guy walking with his lady, and then turning and then looking at Captain Marvel that was walking by, and Jane,
Oh, dude. Well, first of all, Jane decided to peace out on her own, right? So she's out of the picture, dude. I would love to see a Thor Carol Danvers movie. I'm not even gonna lie. That's a whole lot of blonde, sexy, superpowered hotness right there.
Yeah, I want to see some cosmic romance.
There'd be some cosmic thunder, all right. I'll tell you that. But I don't know. I think the internet pretty much agrees with us because people started shipping them immediately, and there's all these. Well, you already talked about one of the memes, but whatever.
You could tell they've been itching for Captain Marvel to come out so they could release that trailer.
Well, I honestly don't want to see any Thor movies by himself anymore. I want to see Thor team up with everybody else. I want to see Thor and Carol Danvers. I want to see Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy. I want to see Thor and fucking Spider-Man. I don't care.
Well, maybe that's how it'll be. I mean, all these guys are going to be down on their contracts soon. Maybe the only stuff they'll do is just the ensemble movies.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. I'd be fine with that. I mean, why not?
Yeah, there's going to be a point where Disney's just going to have to price them out because.
Well, and I don't think. Listen, I do think there's going to be some major deaths in game, or at least some people walking away at the end. Whether Captain America just retires, whether people just end up in different dimensions. There are going to be some finalities to some of these character storylines. I think in this. But that being said, I don't think they're going to axe all 6 original Avengers, right? I don't think we're going to lose. I don't think we're going to lose Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and Black Widow.
We lost, essentially everybody.
Yeah, so. I don't see us losing everybody. I think there could be a couple big ones, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm excited. We don't have to wait much longer. Next month, they also released the killer official movie poster. Along with the trailer for Avengers Endgame. It is right now. It is my screensaver. which I would show you guys, but hang on, let me clear all these messages real quick. There you go. Ooh, look how pretty that is.
And then somebody posted, I think on Twitter, they zoomed in on Mark Ruffalo. And they said, did somebody tell Mark Ruffalo not to that it wasn't costume day?
Oh, yeah, he's the only one not in costume. That's great.
He got like a suit or stuff like that, and he just like in a jacket.
Well, I think it's funny because in the last poster it showed Hulk, and Hulk was barely in the movie, and so the rumor is that they put Mark Ruffalo on this one because he's barely in the movie.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which I think would be funny. Whatever. I don't really care. I'm sure we're gonna get lots of Hulk. We got no Hulk last time. Also, so apparently Doctor Strange 2 is going to start shooting here real soon. It's one of the movies that has been announced for the next phase. Which, by the way, this phase of movies, so Endgame is going to end the current slate of movies as we know them, and they're calling it the Infinity Saga. So, in the future, moving forward, when they said, oh, the Infinity Saga, that's what they mean. They consider any of the movies, any of these 23 movies, are all part of the Infinity Saga.
Oh, okay.
So one way or another, Endgame will kind of be the end of probably the Power Stones and all the Infinity Stones and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, and then we're gonna focus on.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that next. I started with the Doctor Strange, and we'll move on to the big Marvel news of the week. I know I'm kind of burying the lead here. I haven't even talked about them. There's been massive news this week, and we're just kind of putting along. Anyway, Doctor Strange 2 is about getting ready, and so Scott Derrickson, the director, kind of slipped up and was talking about Namor, about people are going to like him. And so people are like, oh, wait a minute. So is Namor going to be part of Doctor Strange 2? And then people immediately went silent on Twitter. So it sounds like we might be getting Namor the Submariner, basically Marvel's version of Aquaman. Not nearly as cool, but, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's... keep bringing in all those B characters, I guess. So.
Yeah, why not? Like we just talked about, man. I mean, I do think standalones are going to be kind of a thing of the past. I think going forward, most Marvel movies are going to be some form of a team up.
Yeah, I think if Thor Ragnarok showed them anything, is that the Marvel universe works best with mashup.
Well, I mean, even go back to Captain America. I mean, that was kind of your first real team-up movie if you think about it. I mean, you had Winter Soldier, you added Falcon, but you brought in Black Widow, right? I mean, that's a team-up movie. Most people don't think about it, but that was kind of their... I'm trying to think. I don't think anything else. That was like their first real shot at a team-up. And Ant-Man and the Wasp work better when they're together. You know, Thor Ragnarok was great with Hulk and everybody else. So, I mean, other than just introducing other characters, you can't just... Captain Marvel was fun. I liked it. I liked Nick Fury. He was cool. And I understand why they didn't introduce any other Avengers, but for her next movie, I want more Avengers.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know,
but I mean, I don't know if we have this on as another news item, but Disney and Fox did conclude their new relationship. They consummated the marriage.
All right, well.
And so Fox and
come on, I was leading into that. I hadn't gotten there yet, but all right, fine. Since you decided to just tell everybody in case they didn't already know,
it was essentially a tag on from what we were just talking about. I mean,
well, I had a whole transition. Ready. I was gonna say you know, I mean, they're going to keep making that money, and Captain Marvel 2 is, I mean, if you're worried about it coming, it's definitely going to come because it won the weekend again with almost $70 million. It's almost $700 million in the box office. And if that isn't a big enough gift for them either, they got another massive present this week, Ryan, when the merger of Fox and Disney, well, the acquisition of Fox by Disney officially has happened. And all the things you love are now all owned by Disney.
Yeah, and so now they got to start figuring out how they're going to start incorporating all the X-Men. And
well, not just the X-Men, but the Fantastic Four. And I know the Fantastic Four do not sound as sexy as the X-Men, but with the Fantastic Four, you get to bring in some massive cosmic stuff and huge villains. Doctor Doom, Galactus, Silver Surfer, all these characters, the Skrulls, the Super Skrull. These are all characters that are associated with the Fantastic Four.
And, you know, and who really better to have as your next big bad than Galactus?
Oh, God. I still have a theory. I still have a suspicion that we may see a Silver Surfer or Galactus tagline or teaser at the end of Endgame.
surprise me, honestly.
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like we're going to see any mutants anytime soon. Who knows? But some of the things that came out of the, Bob Iger was talking about the merger, and they're kind of talking about the future. It does sound like one of the things that kind of came out of this is that they were going to be holding off on the X-Men movies to make sure they get them right. And they probably, the earliest we'll probably see anything with mutants is probably 2021, because unless they're being real hush-hush, they have nothing scheduled to shoot. So you're talking probably, I'm sure Kevin Feige has a plan, but you're talking, I think it's much more likely we start seeing these things sprinkled into the next Marvel movies, and then they start kind of getting their own stuff. Like I said, we might see a teaser for...
have so much in production right now. They can't just stop production on 8 movies that they're currently already invested money in.
And I'm sure they have contingencies so that the way they can add these things to them. But yeah, I mean, to your point, anything could have happened with this. Maybe a legal hang-up. Maybe there's other things. Maybe this gets delayed for 6 more months. If you've got all these movies, if you've got all these plans, they're about to go into production, and you technically don't own the property yet, it creates a huge nightmare. So, I'm sure going forward they're going to have some really cool stuff, but we might have to wait just a little bit, which is fine.
I mean, it would not surprise me if they had been having, okay, so if this happens, within this time frame, let's try and do this and this, and if we can get it sooner. And we can try and slap something into the Endgame movie and stuff like that. So I think I would assume that they would kind of have like timelines of what they can sprinkle in, like you said.
Yeah.
Because it only makes sense. It just it took them 4 movies until they got to the Avengers, and you didn't even know what they were doing next until the end of the
we got a tease for it.
They teased Thor. And then at the end of Thor, they teased. Did they tease Avengers after the first Thor?
No, they teased Avengers after Iron Man when they said the Avengers Initiative, and then they kind of built up to it. But I mean, here's the thing: we're gonna get some teasers as they build up to their next thing. But it's okay. We got a lot of things in the pipeline. We do not necessarily need them to rush an X-Men, especially since. The other thing that came out of this is that they are starting from scratch. X-Men and Fantastic Four is going to be carrying none of the baggage from Fox. They're all going to be completely rebooted. In fact, the only thing that survived the Mickey Mouse snap is Deadpool. So Deadpool has officially been announced that it is going to be continuing on the Deadpool stories. No shit. Why the hell would Disney buy Fox and then kill their billion-dollar
property
with Deadpool?
Yeah. But
did you see the picture of Ryan Reynolds?
That Deadpool is the only survivor.
Yeah, Deadpool is the only person who survived the Fox merger. And I love Ryan Reynolds. He as soon as it was done, I think he wanted to make sure people knew that like he was still part of this thing. He posted a picture of Deadpool with Mickey Mouse ears on a school bus that says Disney. And he goes, man, it feels like the first day of pool.
He's just waving out the window.
Yeah, and he's looking, and they have like the reflection of the Magic Mount or the Magic Castle in the window. It's great. It's fucking great. So fear not, we are definitely getting more Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, so that's going to be awesome. Something else that came out this week that we found out we're going to be getting a lot more of is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. James Gunn directed.
What? You mean that the whole conspiracy thing was just a bunch of blowed up shit?
Well, no, I definitely think Disney. Disney. Okay, if you don't know what we're talking about, Disney this week rehired James Gunn to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and probably more in the Marvel universe. They brought him back into the Marvel fold. Some people felt like this was the plan all along, but Disney, some bad emails. Well, not emails. Sorry, some bad tweets.
He's still doing Suicide Squad.
Yes. We'll get that in a second. So some very gross tweets he tweeted out back in 2012 resurfaced last year after Disney let Roseanne Barr go for some racist current tweets that she had. And a lot of the people who like Roseanne, a lot of her conservative audience did not take that very well, and they decided to target James Gunn, who is a very outspoken liberal person on Twitter, and they made a big hoopla about some tweets that he'd already apologized for that were out in the open that Disney already knew about. But Disney kind of just didn't know what to do, and so they were like, we didn't know about it. We don't stand for this, and they fired James Gunn. Most people felt this was a pretty extreme response for something that happened a long time ago that he's already...
Drax was, he had to stop moving and being invisible.
I mean, there was a full-blown kind of Marvel mutiny going on. There was people threatening to walk away. There's a lot of the directors they approached about directing the movie just were like, nope, this is James Gunn's baby. We are not going to direct. We're not going to finish this, right? Because he has a lot of friends in the industry and a lot of people respect him. And honestly, James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy is as much James Gunn as it is Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And so people just didn't want to do it. And so I think it kind of put Disney in and I think they really saw like, oh, people don't think he's a pariah. He was immediately hired by DC. He's, directing the Suicide Squad. Everybody's really excited about that. So I think Disney kind of pulled themselves together and said, hey, we fucked up. So, hey, good on Disney, because I think people make mistakes, and I think they have to be forgiven as long as they do what they need to do to get to that point. I think James had done those things, and, I think maybe Disney learned a lesson too. Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to just randomly fire people just because we think somebody might get mad.
We shouldn't fire people because there's been a false flag operation, against them.
My biggest thing with Disney is I get that Disney has an image to protect, all right? I do. But these things were already out there, and Disney had to have known about them. So if you were okay to have him do the first two movies, why all of a sudden now were you putting your, do not... Yeah.
It was a false flag. That's all it was.
Yeah. So, whatever, but he's back, and like you said, the best thing is for all of us is he's also directing Suicide Squad, which is... News came out this week that is going to be a complete reboot. This is not going to have anything to do with the last one that came out.
So, but the same people, or most of the same.
No,
people.
We are getting a lot of different people. We are getting.
Will Smith is out.
Will Smith's out. We're getting Idris Elba as Deadshot, and we are getting a Harley Quinn, Robbie. What's her name? Margot Robbie. Coming back as Harley Quinn. But we're getting a lot of other new characters. We're getting King Shark. We're getting Polka Dot Man. We're getting a lot of the original iteration of the 70s comic book.
Jared Leto list.
Yeah, there's gonna be no Joker in this, as far as I know. But apparently, Gunn is taking his cues from the original comic book run. I don't care. Mm-hmm. People have seen the script and they said it's amazing. It's all James Gunn. And everyone's really excited about this. So, Gunn is going to shoot that first before he goes over to Guardians, but
I'm looking forward to it.
So there we go.
He can put DC on the right track.
Before we get into more Marvel news, because we have a lot of this is pretty much the Disney podcast at this point. I did want to mention that since we're talking about directors of getting fired, there's one director who deserves to be fired from everything. And this is before we even found out about his allegations of being a total ass clown jerkwad. Bryan Singer has officially been fired from Red Sonja. Woo!
From which movie?
Red Sonja. So surprisingly, after all the sexual scandals that popped up about Bryan Singer and him being fired off of Bohemian Rhapsody due to misconduct and other things, and all these things that came out about him, the people making Red Sonja still are like, nope, we're going to hire him and we're sticking to our guns. We're keeping him on as a director.
Who is about as scantily clad of a warrior with a sword as you can get.
Yeah, just what we need. A director who's been charged, who's been accused of multiple accounts of sexual assault of minors.
Yeah.
Directing a sexually charged movie. Bad idea.
The person literally wears a chainmail bikini, essentially.
And, add the fact that he hasn't made a good movie since The Usual Suspects. It was a terrible idea, and I'm glad to see that they have decided to drop him from that movie. Because I grew up watching Red Sonja, and I was excited for the reboot. And I am now again, so there we go. All right.
You have a vast hatred of anyone else named Brian. So.
Well, only with the Y.
Oh, okay.
Brian's with the I. Hey, they're good people, man. All of them. All right, what else we got here? Last bit of Marvel news. Let me scroll. Let me make sure it's last bit of Marvel news. I don't even know if it's Marvel news. Hang on. Last bit of comic book news we have for you guys is since we were talking about DC here a second ago, so Shazam is coming out in a couple weeks, and apparently it is a great movie. Early reviews are just raving about it. And Warner Brothers is so happy, apparently, with the finished product that they have already brought back, re-signed the director and the producing team for a sequel. So,
ooh,
yeah,
awesome. Because my son is super stoked to see that movie.
Yes. Oh, I guess this isn't the last. Here's the last comic book story. So apparently New Mutants is going to be a casualty of, sounds like New Mutants is going to be a casualty of the Fox merger. It was the horror movie that was going to, the X-Men horror movie that has been in reshoots forever and just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. Well, apparently all reshoots have been canceled, and apparently the movie is going to be heading to either Hulu or the Disney Plus streaming service.
Oh, so basically they're just like, screw it, we're just going to have to, you get whatever it is, that's what you get.
Yeah, they said, listen, we're done spending money on this shit show, we're moving on, so.
So Hulu going to be the place where Disney products go to die?
Yeah, probably. And then, Disney Plus will be where they put all their, that's going to be their high-end service. Hulu's going to get all the other stuff, and probably their adult, comic properties. Yeah. Okay, we got a couple rando stories before we'll dive into our last few. American Gods Season 3 has already been renewed, but they have hired yet another showrunner to run Season 3. I will say this, I know I was really harsh on American Gods last week, just destroyed it, rightfully so. The second episode was better. I am hoping that the season will get better as it finds its new footing.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. A little bit of Transformer news. Apparently, last week we talked about that Bumblebee is an official reboot to the whole Transformers universe, which is awesome news. They also confirmed that Optimus Prime is going to be a main character in the sequel, and is going to be they're setting it up as a Bumblebee Optimus Prime buddy road movie.
They're going to have the car and the truck just driving together on the road.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know if they're setting this up like, the hell is that movie? I don't remember. But just an old-fashioned, maybe like Cannonball Run, but with Smokey and the Bandit, but with Optimus and Bumblebee. I'll see that.
Yeah, I'll take
something I don't know if I'm going to see, especially... Okay, here's some really strange Transformer news that is just confusing on all ends. So... yeah. I don't know if you've seen Bumblebee yet. It's a great movie. It's a great reboot of the franchise. Everyone's really excited moving forward. And then they announced that they are making a sequel to Transformers The Last Night, the other Transformers movie that everyone hated that came out years ago. And so apparently they're going to have two Transformers universe, the one that everybody likes and the one that makes all the money but everybody hates. I'm not really sure.
It doesn't make any sense, but I guess they figure they can at least recoup their costs. So
I don't even know. I guess I do know those movies make a shit ton of money. So
yeah, they make a lot of money overseas.
And honestly, Bumblebee, as great as it was, I think it only cleared $600 million worldwide, which is not a lot for a Transformers movie. But I think once you include Optimus in the next one, people love Bumblebee, but they fucking love Optimus Prime. So, you start giving us Optimus Prime and lots of Decepticons, I'm pretty sure people will go see it. So, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, a couple of little things we got here. This one's a big one. I'm very excited about it. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Part 3, also known as Bill and Ted Face the Music, officially has been greenlit, has been announced, and it has a release date. It is coming out next August. Well, August of next year, so 2020. Keanu Reeves and Bill Winters made a video announcing that they have the funding, they have the script, and they are finally making this fucking thing happen. And I could not be more excited. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And you know what? All you fucking Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey haters, that movie's not that bad either.
It was good.
It's fine. It's just really weird because Death shows up and they have robot versions of themselves and then they go to hell. It's a weird movie.
Now, I have to ask, when you play your air guitar, do you keep it close? And do you play it okay, so you lean away a little bit.
I get one arm up and then kind of down, and I like to just wail on it.
I almost do it like I'm playing a ukulele. You know, I think I do it a little bit too short. I need to like.
So yeah, you need to get it up there. Well, see, part of the reason is because if I'm gonna play air guitar, I always start out with one move, the power move.
Yeah.
We are wild stallions.
That's the, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta do it like well, then you gotta wear the cool shades.
Yeah, all I can say is anybody who thinks Bogus Journey is too weird of a movie, did you watch the first one? I mean, literally, a dude from the future in a telephone booth shows up and you have to go through time stealing historical figures, but somehow that doesn't alter the timeline? Yeah. So that they can help you pass your history exam?
Napoleon Bonaparte does not go like back and just fuck shit up.
Or how about Genghis Khan? I mean, seriously, the dude was like, he raped half the known world. I'm sure that would have went over well when you bring him to 1989.
And then he, like, you know, goes into a sports goods store and just...
Dude, that was awesome. He's doing backflips and shit. Puts on, like, a football helmet. Dude, I've got to watch this movie again. So I'm doing this, I don't know if I've told everybody on the show, but my next...
Like, you know, he doesn't get really fat eating Ziggy, you know, Ziggy Chug.
I love Napoleon. Le water slide.
Yeah, why isn't France just shooting out ice cream sundaes every
Or how about you bring in Joan of Arc, but you don't happen to tell her, hey, Joan, maybe you should stay away from that giant fire pit. They're going to burn your ass alive.
Yeah.
You know, when you really break down that movie, there's some really dark stuff that they kind of decided to just... you know what? Hey, our inaugural episode of the shit Brian and Ryan like, we're going to break down Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to start making a list, but there we go. Let's see, last little bit of news we got. I don't care about that. Oh, God, Bird Box is getting a sequel. We're just going to skip over that.
Aren't there enough boxes for birds?
There's so many birds, so many boxes. Let's see, iPads. We're getting some new iPads. Apple's doing this is their every other, so they release like their Pro series that's really nice, high end, and this is their off cycle where they release all the iPads that you already have, but they release them for a lot cheaper.
Yeah. It's like everything that you currently just purchased last 6 months ago.
Yeah, you can get the all-new 10.5-inch iPad Air, which is exactly the same as the iPad Pro from last year.
Yeah.
Look at that. Anyway, whatever. If you want a cheaper iPad that still works really good, now's your chance. They're coming out, but they've refreshed the microchips, so they still have powerful processing chips.
They have maxed out all their quote-unquote innovation. I mean,
yes. Apple is no longer an innovation company. They are a tech refresh company.
Yeah.
I will say this. My iPad Pro is pretty sweet. The one that got rid of it got rid of the home button. It's pretty good.
I enjoy. I will keep my iPad or my iPad until it probably just falls apart, and then I'll probably get a new one.
Dude, honestly, about every 3 years we rotate through the iPads and start, and then we get the oldest model. My daughter has an iPad Mini from like 4 generations ago. So I mean, whatever. It's those things. They build them to last. They work pretty good. And then let's see here. We got. Oh, here's a good one. Sliders. A wonderfully awesome show from the 90s apparently might be getting rebooted.
That'd be sweet.
Dude, I loved Sliders. For you not familiar with Sliders?
Should they bring back the same cast?
Well,
I'm sure
maybe.
They're all available.
I think it's kind of funny because isn't Sliders in essence basically like a reboot of Quantum Leap?
Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you slide into different universes, like versions of yourself.
Oh God, I feel like I've got to rewatch that now. It's been so long.
Yeah, because it was like the multiverse, right? The show never really got a good ending either. So I don't know. There's not a lot of rumors or talks about it. Just John Rhys Davies, who played the original one, just said that, hey, there's some talks to reboot this. I don't know if this is going to be a sequel, a revival, or a whole fresh new show.
I just remember the first episode, and he's driving, and he's like, red means go, green means stop. Red means girl, green means stop, because like everything was like backwards when he was driving.
Yeah, there was always a lot of fun stuff, but like I said, it was kind of a more sci-fi, funnier take on Quantum Leap. But I hope they do it, man. I really like that show.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of trailers we're going to talk about real quick. But before we do that, our final news story of the week is a big one. And it's kind of a little bit of a rumor, so take this with a grain of salt. I mean, this is a big one, at least for me. We've talked about it on the show a few times, so I think this is not too far-fetched. But MakingStarWars.net, who does a lot of really cool Star Wars podcasts, one of our friends does a podcast for them. It's they have had a lot of scoops, and they have a lot of people who work within Lucasfilm who have given them pretty accurate data about all the movies in the past. Well, the most recent thing they gave them is that the guys who did Game of Thrones, we've known for a while that they are developing a Star Wars project. We have not known what it is. We speculated. Me and Ryan, I think, both said that we felt pretty strong that they would make a great Knights of the Old Republic series of movies. Well, apparently that's the hot take rumor from this inside source of Lucasfilm, is that the Game of Thrones creators are currently working on a Old Republic Star Wars trilogy. And that as soon as they're done with the Game of Thrones, which is wrapping up, their part of it's wrapping up in the next month or so, they are going to be putting together their room. I don't know if they're directing or if they're bringing in directors, but they are going to start pre-production on this trilogy, and it's going to start shooting in December.
For the people that are listening on iTunes, I'm doing the happy dance.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not familiar with the Old Republic, think Lord of the Rings, but Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and the robots call people meatbags.
Yeah, it's 1,000 years ago, but there are spaceships, but people... I mean, I guess not Lord of the Rings. That's not quite an accurate, but I mean, it's Lord of the Rings as far as the fights. The Sith are everywhere.
At least Yoda wasn't born yet.
Yeah, there are Sith everywhere. There's thousands of Sith and Jedi. So you're talking massive armies fighting each other, not just one person hiding in the shadows. You're talking medieval style warfare. Now, back in the 1,000 years ago in the Old Republic, they still had ships and they still had lightsabers and stuff like that. But it's definitely much more of like I said, a Lord of the Rings kind of knights and castle type.
Yeah,
stuff.
It was, and they're very like you said, they're Sith and Jedi.
Oh, there's Mandalorians.
Mandalorians are just in there, just beating the crap out of people.
Yeah, they're in their prime. So there's a lot of really rich area for storytelling. And honestly, we've said this from day one that as much as we love the Skywalker saga, I understand why they want to end the Skywalker saga, and this would be a good way to kind of reset this universe a little bit. You can still be part of the universe, but you go so far into the past that you can tell whatever story you want to tell.
Yeah, you can. There's just so much.
You have none of the baggage of trying to tie in Luke or Leia or Han or all these things that we love now, And I think honestly, going forward, I wouldn't be surprised if Rian Johnson's trilogy that he's still working on goes 200 years into the future of Star Wars, and so you could, they want to move past this. I love the Skywalker saga, and I'm all for it. I'm really excited for Episode 9, and I'm
they need to get past the Skywalker so that all the stupid fans that are just so hung up on every tiny detail, they have to start over too.
Well, they can't reboot this, right? You can't redo Episode 1 through 9. So you have to figure out a way to continue this legacy, but move on from it, right? And I hope the standalone movies like Solo still explore some of this. I'd love to see him recast Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and give us a standalone Jedi Master Luke story where, before he decided to leave the Order, where it shows him on an adventure. I think it'd be great. So I hope we still get some more standalone movies. But as far as the main saga films, I'm really excited if this is true about the Old Republic.
This is the direction that they're going to go in. Star Wars is going to be around until the day we die.
Well, and the exciting thing is if they're starting shooting in December, I mean, there's a legit chance, I don't know production on this, there's a chance that this actual movie could come out next Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So,
wouldn't put me past it.
I think Star Wars still has a plan of doing a film every single year. I think originally their idea to do 2 or 3 movies a year might have been a little early in its lifespan, but it took Marvel a long time before they could give us 3-4 movies a year. But hey, you know what? I would be perfectly, as much as I love Star Wars, I would be perfectly fine if we got one new Star Wars movie every Christmas, every year until the day that I am no longer on this earth.
Yeah, there'll probably be at least 2. it wouldn't surprise me if they start getting to where like all the Marvel movies are now, where we have 6 Marvel movies a year. So.
Well, especially since they have all these movies in active development right now. Plus, we're going to get Disney Plus, so we're going to get a lot of Star Wars content. I am very excited. And then real quick, because we do have a lot of, we have some great questions I want to talk about. So we were going to talk more about these trailers that dropped, but I think instead we'll just mention what trailers dropped this week, and we will just give a quick opinion about it and move on. If you have an opinion.
I want to do a quick news item.
What do you got?
You can watch Farscape. All episodes of Farscape and the Farscape movie are now streaming on Amazon Prime.
All right, there you go. I've never seen that, so I might have to check that out.
Yeah, I rewatched the first episode today, but I haven't probably done it in 6 or 8 years. But obviously the animation and the CG, but Jim Henson, doing all the puppets and stuff like that. So, it still holds up.
All right, Amazon and Farscape. Oh, last little bit of news I did skip over and miss. I just wanted to know. HBO has officially given out how long each episode of all 6 of the season finale or series finales are going to be. It was rumored that these things could go as long as an hour and a half, and that they were all going to be an hour and a half. Well, that's not entirely true. The first 2 are 50 to 2 minutes, and then the last 4 are all going to be 80 minutes. So they are going to be longer than normal, and we're going to get a lot of Thrones, but.
Yeah, I was at least hoping for a finale of 2 hours.
Yeah, I think we all were. I'm not. Hey, as long as they do what they're supposed to do, I don't care how long it is. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. All right, so trailers. We got a lot of new trailers this week. I'm gonna blow through them real fast. We already talked about Avengers Endgame. That was kind of really the big one. We got a Sabrina the Teenage Witch season 2 for Netflix drops April 4th or 5th, I think. Really good if you like Sabrina. I know you haven't watched it, so we won't dive into this one too much. But if you like Sabrina, like I do, I watched it with my wife. Great show. A lot of fun. The season 2 looks like it's going really big on the magic. You can definitely tell that Netflix is giving them more money. The budget definitely looks bigger, and it looks a lot darker, so I'm really excited for it. We also got this morning, we got a trailer that I know everybody has been waiting for because it's fucking Stranger Things. We got our first official trailer for Stranger Things Season 3, and it looks great.
Yeah, it's Demogorgons and Baba O'Reilly.
Yeah, there actually looks like a lot of villains in this. It actually looks like we're going to get some human villains. It looks like we're going to get a lot of the agency or whoever the group is that was hunting Eleven.
The guy at the carnival.
Yeah, we're getting assassins. We're getting, looks like viruses. To me, it had a very Aliens vibe to this one. Mm-hmm. Aliens kind of, I don't know, man. It was like John Carpenter's It Thing a little bit.
Seven's kind of more into her and more in tune with her abilities.
You mean 11?
Oh, 11, yes, sorry.
7-11. But yeah, no, they all look like, and it was cool. I'm glad they kind of skipped a little bit because they all look like they're becoming teenagers a little bit, right? And so they're kind of leaving adolescence. It actually looks really cool. A lot of it's set in the mall. It's Stranger Things. It looks. I love season 1 and 2. It's one of my favorite shows, and all season 3 did was just get me super excited for the.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to try and get my wife to rewatch seasons 1 and 2 with me. She hasn't watched any of it yet, so.
Well, my oldest has really been taking an interest in it. And she watched the first couple episodes by herself, and she wants to watch them, but she wants to watch them with us. So I think we might try and blow through season 1 and 2. Game of Thrones will be done by then. Maybe we'll try and watch the first 2 seasons before season 3 starts in July. So that's going to launch July 4th, so we all got a little bit of time. If you have not watched Stranger Things, the hype is real. It is a great show. Just watch it. I think the first 2 seasons are 8 episodes and 9 episodes, so they're not super long.
If there's any reason to buy Netflix for at least a month, it's Stranger Things.
Definitely. And then we got 2 more trailers. There are movie trailers that dropped. We got a Toy Story 4 trailer, an official this is what the movie's going to be about. And I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed because the few teasers we got made it look like it was going to be really funny. And I'm sure it's going to be funny, but the trailer we got makes it look like literally Toy Story 3 again.
Yeah, it basically Toy Story 3 just told in a different way.
Yeah, they have a new family. or a new person that they play with, and then look, Woody.
All the old toys are trying to rally around to make sure
Woody goes on an adventure and he's lost, and everybody's got to try and find him, and it's about like letting go and moving on. I'm just like, I mean, listen, I love these characters, so I'll watch this movie, but I was kind of hoping they would give us something to. I mean, they still can. This is just a trailer, but it really seems like we're going down the same path again.
They're just going to keep doing it until it stops making them enough. It doesn't make them as much money as they thought it was going to.
Yeah, true. And then the last new trailer we got, which is something I've been really looking forward to because I love Quentin Tarantino. We finally got a teaser trailer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, his 9th movie, and they let you know the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
This movie, this is not what I thought this movie was going to be about. I always thought this movie was going to be about Marilyn Manson, Charlie Manson, and it is, but it isn't. This movie's very much about just Hollywood, and it seems like the Manson murders are going to be kind of a backdrop to this story versus what the story's about.
Yeah. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio starring Brad Pitt.
Well, I didn't realize that Leo is like a movie star and Brad Pitt's his stunt double.
Yes, yeah. Brad Pitt is just carrying his load.
Dude, it's. I cannot wait to see this movie. The guy who they have that's supposed to be Bruce Lee freaking looks and talks just like Bruce Lee. I thought it was Bruce Lee for a second.
Yeah, I honestly thought I was watching like one of those, like they had somehow got like a Bruce Lee like clip into the thing, like through movie magic or whatever.
Like, I love the part when he's talking.
I look like that's not Bruce Lee.
No, it's a dude who's like he's like a Bruce Lee impersonator, and this guy's gonna be great. I love the part when he's like talking to him, and he's like, I trained so hard, like I could kill you with a move, and if I accidentally killed you, then I would go to jail. And he goes, because I'm so deadly. And then Brad Pitt's like, yeah, no shit. Everyone goes to jail if they accidentally kill somebody. It's called manslaughter. I was like, I love Tarantino. His movies are the best. So, I don't know. Check it out. I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be a great movie. I'm a huge Tarantino fan. I always have been. And, I know a lot of people didn't like The Hateful Eight, but I thought that was a great movie, too. So, I don't care. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Very excited for this one. Yeah. And I think that's it. That's all the news we got. Unless you got something else you want to add.
We do have questions from the faithful Fifth.
All right, I guess we're moving on to that. Thank you, first of all. Thank you, everyone who. Thank you, Ryan, with your big brain. You always come up with the best questions on Facebook every Thursday, asking people, and with your just sexy words, you just allure, you just suck people in, feeling like they have to leave a question.
I feel like this is a trap.
And this week we got a lot of good questions.
Yeah.
Your typing is like a siren call. Yeah. Sucking people to their death.
I think it was only because I posted a picture of Axl Rose.
Probably also true. I find that when you post a shitty picture, we don't get nearly as many questions.
Yeah, that's true. So, we sent, like Brian said, I make a post every day of the we're recording on the show drop, and we went into the jungle this time. Welcome to the jungle. I don't know why that was stuck in my head, and I was
pretty sure that's on a lot of soundtracks, a lot of great soundtracks.
Yeah. So, first question is from the commander in Second Command, Christine, of the GDR Army.
That's right.
She wants to know. Her question is, recently, her husband and her were searching for something new to watch on Hulu, which is hard.
You know what? I really thought this story was going to go in a different direction. The way you were talking about it and the way you worded that, Christine, it sounded real sexy.
Yeah. So
me and my husband were looking for something.
Want to watch something on Hulu?
New. Whoa. This is a family show. What's going on here? All right, I just have to throw that out there.
And he's super picky, Brian. He's picking.
No. All right, moving on, Ryan. Abort! Abort.
He comes across Renegade. Ooh,
dude, is that Lorenzo Lomas?
Showed that he apparently watched in the 90s, and it was god awful. He was surprised. He had remembered it being good. And so her question is, what show did you watch when you were younger that you recently rewatched and realized it was horrible?
You know what? I think I'm going back to my original statement. Her husband tried to lure her into a hot sex pot show. I mean, hey babe, I got this show that we should watch together. It's got Lorenzo. It's got the Renegade in a hot leather vest with no shirt on and his little chest hairs hanging out. Cowboy boots.
Any mustaches?
No, but he had long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was real sexy back in the 90s. Yes. Sorry, Christine. I could have told you that show was terrible. I remember watching that when I was younger, and I still remember thinking, I don't know about this show.
Yeah. I don't know. So, is there a show that you had a big nostalgia for, and then when you watched it, you're like, man, this is not what I remember it being? I haven't rewatched anything in a long time.
Honestly, the only thing I've rewatched from back in the day is a lot of cartoons, and they're real bad. I was watching, they had X-Men on. That animation is terrible. I know X-Men, the animated show, is a cornerstone for a lot of our childhoods. It's terrible. The animation is so bad. DuckTales, I tried watching DuckTales with the kids, the original DuckTales. Yeesh. The original Ninja Turtles. Oh my god, it's awful.
My kids were asking about X-Men, and then my wife, started going na 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 na. And I was like, oh yeah. And so then we found. Yeah, so we found an old episode, and we just put it on, and it's it is not what you remember it being. Other than that really wicked awesome soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of those shows in the 90s. Baywatch is really bad. Have you rewatched Baywatch at all?
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell still got kind of a goofy quality to it. Shows like the A-Team. I've seen the A-Team reruns. They're bad, but they're still kind of fun. Knight Rider's in the same boat. I mean, the writing's just terrible. The acting is even worse, but those have a decent quality. But yeah, some of those 90s shows are real bad. But yeah, honestly, sorry, Christine, I don't really have an example as far as a TV show because I don't rewatch a lot of shows from the past. I'm sure, we were talking about Sliders earlier. I'm sure if we were to rewatch Sliders, we'd be like, ooh, this is real bad.
Yeah. I'm sure, or I don't know. I wouldn't say that about Quantum Leap. I really like
Quantum Leap. Actually holds up pretty decent.
Yeah, I think I watched one of the Stargate shows.
Yeah, I never really watched Stargate on TV. Airwolf. We talked about Airwolf. I bet you if I rewatched that, it'd be real bad.
Oh, I did rewatch Highlander. Not as good.
Oh, with Duncan.
Yes.
Yeah. See, like I said, that's one of those '90s shows. There's a lot of leather and ponytails.
And way sexist and
oh yeah, it's the 90s.
And calling everybody, calling people, F, Yeah,
oh yeah. That was one of my biggest disappointments with Captain Marvel. If you're gonna set up movies in the 90s, the 90s were not a very PC place.
I mean, people were still horrible toward
Dude,
gay
there
people.
should have been at least one dude who walked up and slapped Captain Marvel's butt because I would have loved watching her just punch people through a car. That would have been great. I mean, the whole point of being in the 90s is, when you're a sexist asshole, you just happen to run across the one woman who's got all the power in the world. It's gonna be a real bad day for you. But they didn't put that in the movie. Anyway, some of the 90s stuff is real tough. Renegade. There was another show that came out around the same time as Renegade. God, what was it called? I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a guy. It was kind of a Renegade type character, but he drove a Dodge Stealth car, and he just drove around helping people. Whatever.
Magnum PI.
Yeah, Magnum PI is pretty bad. But I would recommend staying away from anything that came out in the 90s. That's just my.
So thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine. Sorry I couldn't be more helpful.
See, next up we have Jeff. He wants to know, for each of us, each of you are throwing the other person a bachelor party.
Ooh.
What do you have planned for that night? Ooh, so you're throwing me a bachelor party, Brad.
Uh-huh. Well, like, okay, so I got a question. Is it like now or is it like 20 years ago?
When we were young and we could stay up past like 11 o'clock at night.
So here's the hard part. Like, when I was young, I didn't have 20 years ago, I had no money. So it would probably end up some shitty bar.
Let's just say we're young. Money is not an issue. And it's a bachelor party. Or no, let's just go with now. Like,
everyone wants to say strip clubs, but I fucking hate strip clubs. I would say, like, now, first of all, we'd probably get a mountain of cocaine and we'd reenact Scarface, but with paintball guns.
That sounds good. That's what you do for my bachelor party?
Yeah.
You was just like, all right, Ryan, here to mountain.
I would get you a Daredevil costume and push you off a roof. We do our superhero training. I mean, I don't know. If I went to, honestly, I'd probably go somewhere like destination. Probably go to Vegas or, someplace Whistler, someplace fun for a weekend and just drink a lot and hang out. One of the funnest bachelor parties I ever went to was we rented this. We had this. My friend rented this like corner penthouse suite. I mean, it wasn't like penthouse, like 500 floor hotel, but it was just like 3-story like Marriott Express or something. It had like a. The penthouse had like this really cool, like 180 view window that went all the way around. And so we just got drunk all day and I just did commentary on everybody walking because we were down in Portland and Portland's a weird city. And so I literally we just people watched and I just pretended like I was every person and what they were doing. And I just entertained everybody. I mean, we just had a good time. And then once everybody, at first people were kind of like, okay, they just listened to me. And then everybody kind of jumped in and started like, oh, this guy clearly cheated on his wife and he's running because she called and he's supposed to be down the street and she's using Google Maps to find his location right as we speak. We just started doing stuff like that the whole day and it ended up being really fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
if we did a mountain of cocaine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I threw you a bachelor party, we would go to Vegas, and it would probably end up being something like the Hangover movie, where we would like wake up and there'd just be like all this like weird shit, and then we'd have to like backtrack, figure out like what happened.
If you roofied me, I just wouldn't be your friend anymore. And the worst part is, if I woke up and didn't remember the night before, I would just go home. Like, I'm leaving. We lost Ryan. He probably deserved it.
Yeah.
We didn't lose him. I put him in a Daredevil costume and pushed him off a building.
Got a guy locked up in the trunk of a car.
Oh my god. So you would take me to Vegas and hangover style me.
Yeah. I'm assuming that we're at our current age. I mean, we can only do so much.
I would get real drunk and just reenact movies with you all the time. Scenes from movies. We find a penthouse and reenact, also with cocaine, reenact the True Romance finale. Pretty much, I make a real list of all the movies with great cocaine shootouts, and we just reenact all those.
So we're gonna get a lot of cocaine.
Do you have any money? I don't have any money. Cocaine's expensive.
The kind that, like, the kind from like the 70s and 80s where people could actually get off it, or.
I don't know. I don't do cocaine.
Because there are like all these people like from the 70s and 80s that did like mountains of cocaine, so, but they're not like.
I've never done cocaine, so if any of our audience does cocaine, is there like a difference between 70s and 80s cocaine and like now cocaine?
I don't know. I just assume.
Yeah, right. If we did a bachelor party, we'd probably go to dinner, get drunk, and watch reruns of movies or 80s TV shows.
Yeah. That
play
sounds
Halo
fun to me. I have no desire to go to a strip club or anything like that.
I've been to Vegas and pulled the all-nighters for a bachelor party. I've been to Whistler for bachelor parties and did the whole drink yourself until you almost get eaten by a bear.
Yeah.
I had a friend who tried to pet a bear in Whistler. I'm like, you guys are going to get eaten. It's a fucking bear. Like a live bear wandering around the woods trying to take pictures with them. I'm like, you guys are going to get eaten. Idiots.
I don't think I have not been to a bachelor party.
Really?
Yeah.
Never one? Not one? I've been to a lot of them.
My brother, I couldn't make it to his because they kind of did it like last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living in Utah. and so I just couldn't get up. I couldn't make it to it. And that's the only person that's like a significant person in my life that's got married, honestly. Like all my cousins, not married. You know, all my friends from high school.
I don't know. I mean, like, bachelor parties, they can be fun. The older I get, the more, like, I mean...
Like, let's just drink and hang out.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of strip clubs. I mean, I've been at the bachelor parties where you spend, 42 hours straight at strip clubs. It's really not that fun. But, I don't know. I would prefer just going out and having fun with friends and...
Yeah.
I liked going to Whistler because Whistler you can just walk. Basically, you just get wasted and walk around from bar to bar. It's just fun.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Mountains of cocaine.
Mountains of cocaine, and then reenact Scarface. It's great.
Say hello to my little friend.
Hello to my little friend.
Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Jeff. Great question as always.
Let's see. We have one from David. It just says, in honor of March Madness, and then there's a picture, so I'll open up the picture.
Yeah, you know what?
Marvel versus DC bracket. Oh, God, do we want to go through all this?
No, I was gonna, but we are already, if we do this will be a 2.5 hour show.
Alright, so let's just do the number ones. We have Superman, Batman for DC. And then we have Iron Man and Captain America?
Yeah, these number ones are not that strong. Okay, so here from Marvel. Let's pick out 2 winners from Marvel. We'll go through these real quick and we'll pick out who we think would win. So we got Captain America. Well, here, I guess let's just do it fast. Captain America versus Star-Lord. Captain America.
Captain against who?
Star-Lord.
Captain against Star-Lord?
Yeah.
I would say Captain America.
Jessica Jones versus Daredevil. I'm going to say Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Spider-Man versus Deadpool.
Daredevil beats shit out of Captain America.
Spider-Man, Deadpool. I'm going to say Deadpool because he can regenerate.
Yep, Deadpool.
Thor versus Black Widow. Okay, really?
Yeah.
Thor. And then, Thor versus Deadpool. I'm going to say Thor.
And then that would be Thor against Daredevil.
No, it'd be Daredevil against Captain America. I'm going to say Captain America. And then Captain America versus Thor. I say Thor.
I was going to say Daredevil beats Captain America. And Thor beats Daredevil.
Okay, so either way, we both get the Thor. All right, there we go.
Thor.
All right, so Thor, and then in the second bracket for Marvel, we have Iron Man versus Ant-Man. Iron Man. Captain Marvel versus Doctor Strange. That's a tough one.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, let's go Captain Marvel.
No, that was not a good draw for those two. They're definitely not a 4 and a 5.
Yeah, I mean Doctor Strange. Whew, that's a tough one. Wolverine versus Scarlet Witch. There's another tough draw. I'm gonna say Wolverine. That dude is like indestructible.
Mm-hmm. Hulk against Falcon. Oh man. Yeah.
All right, so we got Wolverine versus Hulk. We've seen how this plays out in the comic books. Hulk, unfortunately, Wolverine.
Yeah. Hulk can Hulk himself.
Okay, and then you've got Captain Marvel versus Iron Man. I'm going to say Captain Marvel.
Yep, I'll agree with you.
So we got Hulk versus Captain Marvel.
I'm
going to say Captain Marvel. She can fly.
Yeah, she can fly and go into outer space.
So we got Thor and Captain Marvel. Okay, so then we go over to DC, and we've got Superman versus Black Canary. Superman. That's a bad draw.
Nobody can beat Superman, so let's just automatically slide Superman.
Oh my God, this region is the worst.
The Metropolis one?
Yeah, because you got Wonder Woman, Flash, and Superman. All 3 big 3s, and they all got to go up against Superman. But in the other division, so you've got Superman. In the other division, you've got Batman, Robin, Martian Manhunter, Supergirl, Aquaman, Cyborg, Green Lantern, and Harley Quinn. So really we're talking Batman versus Supergirl.
Yeah.
Batman probably has kryptonite.
It's true.
So it's got to be Batman out of that one. And then it's got to be Aquaman or Green Lantern. Who do you go? Aquaman or Green Lantern?
Green Lantern.
Yeah, I'm going to go Green Lantern. Okay, so we got Superman. Okay, and then Batman versus Green Lantern. Who do you got?
Batman just does too much research on everybody. That's the thing.
Let's be real. Green Lantern. Let's be real. Green Lantern would put Batman into a ball and shoot him into space. And I'm going Green Lantern. I know everybody loves Batman, but I'm going Green Lantern.
All right, I'll agree with you on that one.
All right, Superman and Green Lantern versus Thor and Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel cleans Green Lantern's clock, but I think
that's not how it goes. You gotta have the Marvel.
Oh, okay. Well, Superman crushes Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And so I think Thor beats Captain Marvel.
You do?
He's got a hammer, dude.
He doesn't have a hammer. He's got an axe, for one. And Captain Marvel can freaking fly through space. Thor can only just, get
Okay, fine. So we go Superman versus Captain Marvel. I say Superman wins because Superman always wins. He's the best.
I'm going to say Captain Marvel just to be on the opposite side.
All right, that works. All right, well, thank you. We would love to hear everybody else's brackets and who you come up with, but we're going to say Superman wins. I'm going to say Superman wins, and he's going to say Captain Marvel wins.
Yeah. All right, so next up we have Chris, our good friend from the Utah Outcast podcast. If you'd like to listen to some people talk about atheism and politics. So.
And other stuff.
Sometimes nerdy stuff. So he wants to know, have you guys ever reached a point where you nearly give up on something you love because of the fan base? He's not going to go, he's not going to, but comic book movie fans are the absolute worst.
Yeah.
It's followed only by gaming geeks who think that gaming is only whatever subset of games and consoles they play. He said, if you have, what was it, and what did you replace it with? I have not gotten to the absolute breaking point yet. I feel like I'm close.
I refuse to give up the property. So Star Wars fans for me were kind of the first one. I know we've talked in lengths about this with The Last Jedi, how crazy divisive it was with people and how much hatred. I mean, I went on Twitter the other day and was commenting on a guy that I follow's post. We were talking about The Last Jedi, and I'm just like, I just said, we were talking about the scene where Leia kisses Luke, or Luke kisses Leia on the forehead, and I'm just like, God, this is one of the best scenes in the entire saga. I just don't understand how people can hate The Last Jedi. It turned into 100 conversations about, because it's stupid and you're stupid and blah. I'm just like, oh my God, you can't even mention it without people screaming about everything. And I refuse to give up Star Wars. I love Star Wars and I love nerd stuff. And I know there's been a lot of assholes about Captain Marvel and, Black Panther and other things. It's just, I quit. Honestly, I quit going. What I give up? I gave up social media on these things. I don't go there anymore and talk to people about it. I just talk to my close friends, and everybody else can fuck off.
Yeah. I used to, when it came to gaming community, and part of it might be that I gotten older and I have kids and I don't have as much time anymore. But I used to read all the gaming websites and the forums and stuff like that, and stay on top of what were the new games that were being developed and everything. Honestly, now I don't even give a crap at all. I haven't bought a new game in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't really. And plus, from everything that I see, if you buy a new game these days, it might be a month until it's even actually playable. Because they have to do so many patches and stuff.
Well, it's because they have to hit a deadline and sell this thing because they put all the advertisement and everything and it's not ready. Yeah, I think to answer your question, Chris, I think...
And you got to do a 1 hour or, a 6 hour patch on the game day. Release day.
Honestly, to answer your question, Chris, is I don't give up anything anymore. I just give up the communities. And
yeah, that's true.
Me and Ryan joke a lot that we're going to end the show, and it's not because we don't enjoy doing it anymore. It's just, honestly, we still enjoy podcasting, and we'll probably still do something. It's just a matter of, it's hard to care about these things anymore. It's really, we used to be so excited to talk to people about things, and we've always loved doing the show because me and Ryan are pretty positive guys, and we we love geek culture. We love nerd culture. And honestly, over the last 3 years, it's been really hard to care about it anymore. I still care about the movies. I care about things coming out. I get excited about Bill and Ted. But me and Ryan aren't really part of the community anymore. We've had to like just break away and just be excited with each other now because it's just people have become so toxic and hateful.
Yeah, I don't go to any nerd. I mean, I'll go to the nerd website to read the news, but I don't go in the comments. I don't go to the forums.
We could easily release videos where like everything I hate about Captain Marvel and why Marvel is going down the toilet, and it'd probably get 1,000 views immediately.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want, but that's not what we want to be or what we want to do. So that's why we tend to focus on the things that we like, and we always try to be excited about things. I mean, listen, even when we give a negative review about stuff, we try and always be fair and have fun with it. But we don't like everything. But it's just, it's hard to care anymore, other than just your own friends. When I play video games online, I usually mute it. I don't hop into chats with other people unless they're my friends. People are so negative and just want to drag you down. We were used to do a lot of stuff on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter that much anymore, other than just for news and stuff. Just because
I get on Twitter just to scroll through my news feed. That's about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've gotten rid of a lot of the sites I used to follow on Facebook because the comments that people were just trolling all the time. So I don't know. I don't think you have to give up what you love. I think sometimes you just have to check yourself out of it and just enjoy something for what it is.
Mm-hmm. And maybe just go out into the real world and
go talk to a real friend. That is the one thing I do miss about, since we're talking soundtracks and 90s here. One of the things I do miss about the 90s, and some of it's because we were younger and you didn't have real life all the time, so you could spend more time just bullshitting with your friends.
Yeah.
But I do miss, we used to have these there used to be chat rooms called Your Friend's Basement. And, you sit around and talk about Tarantino, or you talk about movies, or talk about games, or you'd argue with your friends about why Star Wars was better than Star Trek. But it always was fun. It always ended with a laugh. And, maybe occasionally someone got punched, but you were always friends, and it was not hateful, right? It was conversation, and people have lost that. People just like to yell into the void all the time now.
If you ever got mad, you would just, drink a little more beer or something.
Well, now everyone just has to assume like their opinion is the only one that matters, and if anybody disagrees, the way to fix that is to explain to them why they're wrong and just be louder than them. It's just dumb. You know what? If you hated The Last Jedi, I don't care. That's cool. I mean, I get it. That movie didn't speak to everybody, but for the love of God, just like trying to ruin somebody's life because people still get Ryan Johnson still, bless his soul, is still on Twitter. I don't know why, because people still daily send him hate mail over The Last Jedi. It's like, get over it, man. The guy made a movie. If you didn't like it, didn't resonate with you, then move on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do feel somewhat nostalgic for, the social interactions that we used to have.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sound like an old man beating a dead horse.
So, anyway.
Dude's ruining everything.
Yeah, everything wasn't better back in our days. Things now are definitely better in a lot of ways, but the fandom is definitely taking a dark turn, and I'm not sure how to fix it. So, but whatever. Until we end this show, you can always find positivity and happiness on our show. We'll talk about things. But thank you, everybody, for the questions. We appreciate it. There's some great questions tonight. And do you have a recommendation, or do you want to just skip it and do it next week, or do you want to make it quick?
I can just make mine quick. I started listening to the Ron Burgundy podcast. And if you are a fan of Anchorman, this is very much a Ron Burgundy podcast. I mean, that is all I can say.
All right.
I don't want to give away too much, but it's a Ron Burgundy podcast.
The Ron Burgundy podcast.
Everything that you would expect from a Ron Burgundy podcast.
And my recommendation this week is the Ready Player One novel. Ryan trashed it because he's a big, huge jerk and hates everything that's fun and awesome. I'm only about 100 pages into it, but so far this book has been super fun. If you like the movie a lot, this book is nothing like the movie.
I told you.
But it's actually really good. It's an older book, but check it out. Ready Player One. It's a fun read. If you love nerd culture, the one thing this thing does a much better job of than the movie is really diving into geek culture itself, right? And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I remember, like when I first started playing video games and stuff, that they reference. It's a lot. It's so far it's been a lot of fun to read it. So Ready Player One, it's available now because it came out in like 2011.
Yeah, I have to just let everyone know I did not hate the book. I did not like how the author had the relationship between the guy and the girl. That was the only thing that I didn't like. So. Yeah,
well, we'll see. When I get there, we'll talk more about it. But anyway, well, that is all the time we got. We've already gone super long, as always. Shocker. Before we get out of here, Ryan, you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report, Twitter at the Geek Dad Report, and Brian is Brian West 53, and I am Big Bruiser. We're on Facebook as the Geek Dad Report, and you can also find us on podhell.com with our friends, the Utah Outcasts, who do not update on there anymore, apparently. So
we may not be on there much longer. We'll see.
Yeah, we might give them the middle finger.
I'm sure they just might pull the plug on the website. Yeah. We'll see.
But you can also find us on iTunes at the Geek Dad Report. And make sure you leave us a comment, a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, a star, a happy face, a little heart button, whatever it is that social media platform uses to give us attention. We would like that, please. We
would like it because we haven't gotten any attention. And we'd like some before we end the show.
We are only at 89 subscribers on YouTube. Yes. If we do not hit 100 subscribers within the next
29 episodes,
within the next 28 weeks or 29 weeks, then the show's done. So, oh wait, did we already say we're done? I
don't know. Well, one day we're just gonna not show up. So until then, everybody, thank you for joining us, and as always, stay awesome
and stay nerdy, everyone.
Wild Stallions rule. Bow, bow, bow.